Hello, friends, and welcome back to our regular Thursday Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones tabletop campaign After the Fire. I am here, myself, with only one other member of our illustrious cast tonight. Susanna Grace is with me, as we are going to engage in the Battle of the Boneway. Hello, Susie. How are you doing?
Hi.
It's just
Hi.
Tina Belcher noises from here on out.
Yeah, that's me. No, because today, from the moment I woke up, my husband's been like 4 hours, 3.5 hours,
No way.
2 hours. He's a motherfucker. Sat over there smiling. So joke's on him. He's the one that's gonna have to buy me ice cream when I'm sobbing inconsolably by the end of the episode. So he did that. But yeah, so I'm here. Don't, because I had a realization while I was having my pre-show pee.
Right.
I was like, I've been comparing this a lot to the battle of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, right? 300 Spartans held off the entire Persian army. And then I was like, oh, they died. I was like, maybe that was a bad one to compare it to. But hey, they went down in history, and then they had an extremely bad movie made about them. So
I thought it was all right.
it
It was, comic book fodder.
Yeah, I mean, it was extremely gay.
Yeah.
Which is on par for Spartans, to be honest. That's that's the thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
Hello.
Well, I admitted to you earlier, I low-key feel underprepared for this. I usually put a lot more solid prep into one-on-one sessions, but we did not have much time this week to plan it. So we just went over strategy. We went over thank you, Mrs. Webby. You give me a bonus dice. All your bonus dice are coming to me now because Susie's maxed out.
Stop. Test I
Got you back, babe.
She doesn't need any more, okay?
I usually put a lot more prep into this, but we went over the strategy this week. Talked about how you want things to play out. Yeah. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good strat. And so we did some warfare rolls earlier in the week to see how things went. And when I tell you at the end of this session what the rolls were, it's just going to be fucking brilliant. Fate threw me a curveball. It really did. So it's going to be a fun one. Strap in. Get ready. Yeah. This is gonna be big. Oh, thank you for the other sub to Noir as well. Great, good job. Hi, Noir. Unless this is left over from you being in chat the other day. One more for me. Whoop whoop.
God damn it.
Just gotta spend them, ain't ya? Just gotta spend them.
Oh, I'm gonna need them.
Oh no, oops. Amazing. Cool. All right. What more can we do to pad the time? Get the suspense up.
We could talk about Hex Crawl yesterday that we did. Do you know what? I'm going to carry that energy from Hex Crawl yesterday where I tased a harmless civilian and then kneed him in the nuts. Stole his laptop and his watch and left.
It was a good move. I was like, in that moment, I was like, he shouted quite loud. They're blatantly going to have some nosy neighbors. I wonder how she plays this one out, walking out of the room and just oh. Yeah.
Excuse me.
That was good.
Yeah, can I tase Maekar? Is that possible?
Well, technically, tasers are a poison, so I suppose you are equipped in the same kind of way. You'll hopefully poison him, he'll feel tingly, and he won't be able to speak. It's kind of on par with a tasing, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, kind of.
Make such light
you can
of
tell
that,
neither
maybe.
of us have been tasered.
Please, no, never. Oh.
No, he's wearing full plate. There might be a sudden, dramatic, weird lightning strike that just hits him and him only.
You have destiny
Nice.
points, right?
I do.
I wouldn't call that a minor detail.
I use my destiny point to summon Zeus.
Yeah. I don't think that's quite gonna hit it. Okay. No pad. Only game. Okay. Oh man, you're nervous.
Good. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
good. All right. Where should I start this off? Let's start with this music. Okay. Miria.
Ooh.
Standing in the center of this pass in the Boneway. Ravines to each side of you, cliffs to the left and to the right, further on north, where the army of Maekar Targaryen, headed by Lord Bloodraven himself, marching towards you. You have decided to take the van. You stand at the front of your flank, bolstered by Peake's forces to the rear. The Order of the Blood Royal stand beside you. Up on the cliffs, you can see the silhouette in the morning sun of archers standing tall, as you imagine in a strange antithesis like the wardens on the wall. And on the other side too. And you wait. And you wait some more. And the core of a single crow, high above you, echoes around the ravine and blots out the sun for just a second as you look up. Then, a single figure on horseback emerges to the north of the pass that you are covering. And it slowly makes its way around on horseback, very carefully, around this tight pass with cliff edges flanking it. It starts to make its way towards that narrow ravine that drops on both sides near where you are. Following that figure, more horsemen, and now some more marching men coming forward. This is the moment you've prepared for, and you pray to the seven. Yeah, sorry, different systems. Pray to the seven that your new vultures, your guerrilla fighters, have prepared their traps as you have asked them, as you've commanded. Just as you think that the figures heading up the column that are marching towards you would be in a position to spot you, all at once, the cliffside starts to crack and shake off boulders, pods of scorpions bursting up from the floor, and the front horse in front of you gets spooked, bolts off the edge of the ravine, and there are screams ahead of you. And then all at once, smash. Two forces collide in a melee of blood, piss, sweat, anger, and blades. What do you do as this front approaches you?
Okay, so Miria, she sees this happen, and she feels that wave of that fear that just instinctively hits. No matter how many times you face someone in battle, that fear, when you see them coming towards you, It's always present, but she grips her shield tighter. She grips her spear tighter. She looks left and right to the men and women stood beside her. She just says very quietly, hold. And she just, as they're rushing towards her, everyone hold. And as they get closer, she screams out the order to ready your weapons. And she wants to, basically, they want to break upon their shields like a tide hitting a pier. She wants to that initial.
All right.
And have spears behind them coming over the wall.
And so as they rush forward, these spears, like scorpions' tails, start skewering men, sticking into soldiers in front of you and casting them aside. And this tide literally hits you and seems to jump up and then back on itself, pushing soldiers and horses off this little path in the middle that you've got off these ravines, off these cliff sides, and to their deaths. And just ahead of you, you can see a tall figure cast in black armor with red dragon's teeth along its pauldrons, along its helmet, pushing forward, screaming to rush forward as they've been ambushed. And he is pushing forward to get to that front. Do you hold?
We push back, so we want to advance. It's like that coordinated step forward. So to a real world example, when the police are kettling people, they move a step at a time and just make that gap smaller and smaller. So they just push back, and the spears over top keep skewering and sparing and clearing that immediate little bit in front of them. And the people in the front wall, I don't even imagine have weapons. They're just fully on their shields, just keeping that wall maintained.
And the arrows are coming down from the left side from where your vision is, and they're coming down and skewering yet more men. And there's just this slow cascade of soldiers piling off the side of this cliff before the hulking form, standing unnaturally tall, Maekar Targaryen strides forward and pushes against that shield wall again. He is yards away from you as he's just off to the right, pushing ahead, and he's smashing through members of the order like a bulldozer.
She maintains her position in that wall until she gets closer to Maekar. And she's talked with her men about this before, that when this moment arises, someone steps up to take her place in the wall, as she's going to draw her spear. And she calls Maekar out on the field.
The helmed figure turns, and you can't see his face, but he strides forward, his visor down, and he pushes through your soldiers with swings of his giant mace, his thick Targaryen shield bracing his advance towards you. And he stands before you ready to fight as this melee just swirls around you. What's your attack move?
Okay, so Miria is gonna circle as best she can, because in a battle, right, and everything is never static, everything's swirling and moving, so she's making sure she's moving, she's not being jostled as men are getting bashed around her. She's trying to move between them. She's trying to take to heart those lessons that Enzo taught her, and Sir Francis, always been moving. So she's gonna die. She's gonna take a moment, size him up, and aim, and just take a probing little attack at him to see what we've got going on with Unky Makey.
Okay. And as you dart forward, you dash, you dodge, and you manage to move around the swirling melee that encompasses the two of you. You make one quick jab up towards the side and possibly into an armpit. And as you do so, it's like this force from your left-hand side, this, envelope of air pushes you apart. And all of a sudden, a crow is on your left shoulder. About the size of an eagle. It rips and it caws at you, and it starts trying to peck through your helm into your eyes, into your face. And it pulls back, and in just a second, you catch the vision of a single red eye staring at you from inches away. What do you do?
She's going to try and drive her spear after she follows through with that thing to get the crow, like try and get this thing off of her, because she knows, she spent time with Marzia. She knows now about the Blood Raven. She saw him in court. She knows that he is not what he appears. So she this is not a good situation. She doesn't want it on her shoulder. She must get rid of this crow.
And you bat and you push as hard as you can to bat it away, and you turn and manage to do so, and it flaps in midair before flying up in a spiral. And as the men cascade off the side of the pass, a green fire, the Summerhall fire, starts moving towards you further and further, and you can feel the sweat under your armor as it pushes forward. And you are in the garden of Summerhall again as a young girl, and you can see Summerhall aflame.
I think she rushes towards the fire. If she's a young girl, her friends are in there. She has to get them out. So tiny baby Miria in her little slippers runs towards the fire.
And as the flames lick your face, stirring in your bedroll, you are in a hot sweat. The sweat dripping down your face and onto the straw pillow as the cold night air suffocates you.
I think she does that thing where she sits up and takes a breath, because being engulfed by fire is horrific. And she's just going to lean forward and rub her face to try and quell that probably queasy feeling she's feeling too. And she looks around at the night. It's not quite the day of the battle yet. And she looks across, are there any of her men awake?
There's no fire here up on the cliffside. The sergeants have had very strict instructions not to light any fires, as the scouts have reported that the army's getting closer. The column that's advancing south is getting closer. And so you can just hear this shh, 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 as a solitary member of the Order sits up just outside of his bedroll, and he's just sharpening his sword.
She's going to get up and just quietly walk over and just place a hand on a shoulder. It's like a reassuring, just a little gesture of hello.
My lady.
You should get some rest.
As should you.
Find that my dreams are keeping me awake.
I've never been able to sleep more than a few hours the night before a battle. You have much to think about, much to dream about.
My chief concern is keeping you all alive.
We are Ironwood. We guard the way. It is not we guard the way and live.
No, that's true. But we can't very well guard the way if we're all dead, can we?
There is much talk, but what is your plan? What are these scouts looking for?
I intend to trap them in the Boneway. I've sent the vultures out to drop boulders to cut off their escape, their retreat. The forces of House Fowler will be bringing up the rear of their army to trap them in place and slowly crush them.
The Fowlers not be able to hold their flank. They are cowards.
Well, right now they're one of the few allies we have. You have to have a little faith.
Faith, my lady, may only get some of us so far. With Bloodraven arrived now, they have sorcery on their side.
I'm well aware of him. I met him in Sunspear.
He will know whatever we do, whatever we plan.
He will?
He does not just have little people telling him what is what and what is happening. He has his eyes. Yes. He sees things.
1001, they say.
He sees things other men may never have seen. He knows secrets only two men know between each other. We must be ready, and we must do the unexpected.
One thing he doesn't know. Just how formidable we really are. And just how much we have to fight for.
Well, I think I have exhausted myself enough to try and get a few hours, so.
Till the morning.
Until the morning. It's that morning that finally the vultures return and their sergeant reports in.
Mm-hmm. I would say Maria probably didn't sleep much more that night. And she was using what little moonlight she has to write. She keeps like a little journal with her because she's always been a writer, and she's just been writing in that through the night.
Anything in particular, or even to anybody?
There's a bunch of it's like one of those like, if you're reading this, I'm dead kind of letters, right? It's like her
You'd
last
find it
will
in a
and
Bioshock
testament.
toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There are letters to Marcia. There's one to Mara. There's one to Harris. But they will stay on her body. Like they will stay on her person. But it's just a, if I don't get a chance to say this kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's planning that she might not make it out of here. So there's some things she doesn't want left unsaid.
Yeah, absolutely. And so after not getting much sleep for the rest of that night, maybe dozing in and out, but kind of seeing the sunrise over the Dornish Sea and over the bay and the Boneway itself. It's finally when the vultures return and their head sergeant reports to you. My lady, we have found it. A ravine narrow enough, but spacious enough on either side for us to attack and for us to engage and surround them how you like. There is ample cliff space for the archers to head up there and to fire down from there. Some of the men have already started preparing the scorpions and found some loot rock that we believe we can use.
What is the sunlight like in that ravine? Does it get much sun?
It does in the center, but the cliffs to the north and the south of that narrow passage, depending on the time of day, masks provides shadow for its occupants.
All right.
It's still well lit. It's still daylight inside, but it staves us off from the worst of the heat.
Good. Have some of your men polish some shields.
They can.
Make them as reflective as you can.
They can.
When the sun is at its apex, we'll blind them.
We will have to hope that the column decides to march south at that particular hour, but come the late morning, the middle of the day, we could do it. Would there be anything else?
Take care for Bloodraven's forces. He leads a battalion of archers, the Raven's Teeth. They'll look to get any height advantage they can over us.
We will. And he bows and leaves.
Yeah, she nods them off.
That leaves you to have breakfast and then spend most of the day marching or heading out with the rest of the company to this ambush location. And it's as he describes, and it's very strangely similar to the dream that you had the night before. So there is thinking about this from the perspective of Maekar's forces, Vanguard at the front, the middle, and the rear. At the rear of this area, there is a rocky path that provides cover and concealment for forces on either side. So there are pockets to hide in for vultures or for other soldiers, other troops to be deployed there without getting spotted by the kind of the main pass that winds up to a very narrow point where you're really only 2-3 men deep. And either side of that, it's not like a sheer like cliff off the side and you're kind of tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. It falls off and then there's like little platforms, little mazes that then fall down kind of to the other side. And this probably some ancient river or something that was very close to the coastline, or if the coast changed over time. And so it has these kind of little kind of dips, and this little natural kind of very, very narrow path is like a perfect little choke point to start knocking people off or to start kind of stopping in advance, because it'd be very, very hard to defend. You have a little killing zone in this little bit, right? And then where the van would be, where you are thinking of actually meeting those forces yourself as your own vanguard, it opens up, but there are potholes as well. So there are little natural dips and crevices, and even a couple of actual kind of pitfalls down into a little grubby kind of tiny little cavern thing. So that's the lay of the land. That's what we've got to work with. So with Karen's forces, Pierce Karen, the Fowler forces with Lord Frenlin, and the Manwoody forces with Lord Miles, it's not like a war tent with a war council, but your lords are standing by ready to receive your orders and to advise you as you might need it, as you kind of, take in and walk around this this pathway.
Okay, yeah. And I imagine we've got like, just like in the sand or something, like a drawn out version of the cavern, so we can like do little pushing sticks
Yeah.
So yeah, Miria, she states the Manwoodies will be supporting the vultures and firing down arrows from the top. I believe that's what we said. Is that what we said?
Yeah, that's what we said.
Okay. The Fowlers, backed up with Peak Boys, because I forgot we had those, will be taking the rear and making sure they can't retreat. Ironwood and Karen will be at the front. And she's going to state that the goal here is not to meet them on an open field, because that is their strength. The goal here is to play to our strength, which is the terrain, the traps that we have laid. So we want to funnel them. We want to make sure that they cannot swarm us, and use these crevices, use these ravines to like maybe yeet a couple of boys off there and get rid of some problems, like she's stating like, don't try and go in there and be a hero, be smart.
Yeah.
This could be a battle that lasts all whole day. Like this is not going to be over quickly.
Yeah. So Lord Manwoody pipes up. If we are to last a long time, if the battle is going to last most of the day, then we definitely need to fletch some more arrows. Mm-hmm. We definitely need to bulk up on supplies. I don't know that I can borrow from anybody, and he looks around as if we are positioning all of the archers on the cliff, then all of the archers will be there. It's not as if we have supplies spare to go around. Mm. If this fight continues well into the afternoon, my lady, I am not sure how long we can provide support.
In that case, should your supplies run out, then you should help reinforce one of the forces.
Whatever is the worst at the time.
Whoever seems to need your support the most. I would also, again, I stressed to my guerrillas that the Blood Raven is here. And he will no doubt try to take a ridge. So it could be, after your arrows are done, try to ambush the Blood Raven on a ridge, if he manages to take one.
And
I can't predict what he's going to do.
Lord Peak says 7 hells. Does that mean the Raven's teeth are here?
Most likely.
Fuck. Okay.
We just have to ensure that we are covered as best as we can from any return fire. Make your men aware that it might not just be our men at the top of the ravine.
And they look to Lord Miles with that comment, because they're looking to him to provide them with cover. They look up towards the cliff, and they say, Lord Pierce says, that will not be an easy climb if we have to get up there and get to Bloodraven. It could mean that if the archers are pulling down from this cliff and heading over to that cliff, that they're making their way all the way around and past the rear as well at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And what do you suggest?
I don't know. We're very limited in number. Like you said, we'll have to just fight defensively. We have the advantage of the terrain. But we have to ensure that the entirety of the forces are brought into this pass. Then hopefully they can take a tumble.
Mm-hmm. Prince Maekar's forces should be relatively easy to funnel into this pass. Maekar is a very proud and arrogant man, and he will charge headfirst.
I think that is what we're all counting on.
I should state, though, that should the tide turn, retreat to Castle Ironwood is the plan.
Who's on the rear again? Fowler's.
Fowler.
And so Lord Fowler says, what about us? There's no retreat for us. North, the Stormlands, Dothdarians, the remnants of Summerhall, all loyalist strongholds. Where are we to go?
Will?
If what you say is true about the Bloodraven coming by sea, they are surely blockaded still. And where are they?
Last I heard, they were under siege from Maekar.
Well, sure, if he is sitting here now, that they will make an appearance, no? Have they not sent a raven?
Ravens are being shot out of the sky. We've not been able to get contact with them.
I don't like this.
Perhaps now, if the forces are on the move, we could try to get a message to them.
Well, as our scouts said, my lady, we do not have the time. The column is already on the march. They are close. They will be here tomorrow.
This is not going to be an easy battle. I'm not going to stand here and offer you a heroic poem or a song or any promise of our victory. We could very well die. But this battle means everything. If we stop them here, if we stop Prince Maekar and the Blood Raven here, they're done. What more do they have? The other Blackfyre forces are soon to be engaging Prince Baelor. We take the princes. The kingdom is ours. And there's much more than that. There's our pride as Dornishmen. During Aegon's conquest, they thought they could conquer us. And we shunned them. And we showed them the might of the Dornish people. And yet again, the dragons are at our door. We are going to show them they are not welcome here.
You can see that Lord Fenelon and Lord Miles are smiling at you and taking that in. And after a moment's pause to reflect, they wander off, start to chat together, just quietly. But Lord Pierce is stood there, glaring at you, and he says, "That's all very well for you. But if I die in this fucking hellhole, I will haunt you and your family for the rest of your days." And he's kind of like, you can see he's got like a little bit of a joke, like with it, but he's pretty pissy.
Yeah, and I think despite herself, Maria like laughs a little bit. Like there's a little chuckle that comes out. And she says, "Don't worry, Lord Karen. If you're going to die, then I will die right alongside you. But if we're victorious, think of the songs that will be written in your name. Think of the glory you can carry back to your house. You chose a side, and this is what that means. You don't get the cushy job of sieging a house that is not participating in a war. We are at war, and it is time to fight."
And he nods. And he says, "We'll be right behind you."
Oh, I hate that. Don't trust him.
And he walks off, and he's a little overdressed for the heat of the day, this side of the Red Mountains, and he pulls a little on his collar, and you can see that he's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. In her head, Mary's like, fucking reaches. Rich coming from her. But she would like to turn to Sir Lysander, who is captain, leader, whatever it is they call it.
It's your order. You can be whoever you like.
Commander.
Commander of the Order of the Blood Royal.
Yeah. And Mary is steward, as she doesn't really have much in the way of staff in her castle. But she's gonna do the walk with me kind of thing, as they do like a little survey walk.
And everything in his body language is subservient and listening and attentive to you, that even though he stands about a foot taller than you do. But he makes the effort to, just with his head, just bow down slightly and listen and not be an imposing presence alongside you.
After a while of walking and just talking general tactics, she's talking about, we got to do the shield, we got to make sure that they can't advance. We do the step, the hook, but we don't overextend the spears. So she's walking him through that strategy, which he'll be more than familiar with because it feels like a very Dornish fighty strategy anyway. But she's just going over it with him. But after a moment, she sort of turns and she puts her hands behind her back. This battle, I wasn't lying in the tent. It's going to be a difficult battle. And a lot of us may not survive. I intend to challenge Prince Maekar on the field. And I know that doing so may mean that I do not return. In that case, and then she looks him in the eye, I want you to lead House Ironwood. You have been a true and loyal knight of the house for many years, long before I was even born. And there is no one else. Not yet.
And he looks at you with his youthful face, but it's marked by salt and pepper stubble and flecks of grey around the temples. But he pushes his hair aside, and he doesn't say anything, but he gets down onto one knee, and he bows his head, and he unsheaths his sword and lays it down.
And she smiles and she takes in that gesture. And as he is kneeling, she undoes the sword belt on her hip. She's wearing the sword of the Blood Royal. And he will see her kneel in front of him as she raises the sword horizontally. And she offers it to him.
After an awkward moment, he actually looks up and then is surprised to see that sword being held by you. And as you offer it to him, as he grabs it, slowly stands and regards it, looks at the detail, and says, "In my youth, we all knew the sword. But I have to admit I had forgotten what it looked like. Until you returned." Ironwood or no, sand or no, I could never replace you, truly. But I accept with your grace.
And there's like a little smile at the corner of her lips, but it's almost a sad sort of smile. Because she's feeling like this shouldn't be happening here. This shouldn't be this moment here. And there should be other people stood with her, but they aren't. And she just offers him a hand to help him stand.
And, he takes it, but doesn't really need it, as then he stands again, a good foot taller than you, and looks around to the preparation that the vultures are making. But then there are members of the Order stood around, looking around the ravine, trying to pick out, where the potholes would be. Some of them are even sparring a little, and are actually sparring kind of dangerously close to either that fall or some of the potholes and stuff, in order for them to it's like a bit of a dress rehearsal. Like they're figuring out the ground, they're working out where they're going to be fighting, so that when the time comes, there's just a little bit of muscle memory still there for them to rely on. So can you describe for me what the preparations look like for the traps and for the actual ambush itself, so that we can kind of nicely frame where people are, what's going to happen, what's going to pop up as the column advances into this ambush?
Okay, so we'll work from the back forwards. Manwoodies and Peak Boys will be taking up positions in those little shadowy little hidey holes, so that the approaching forces don't see them. Excuse me. Fowler's at the back, Manwoody's up top.
That's right.
So they'll be getting their positions with the archers.
Yep.
And with some guerrillas up there too for the boulder yeetage.
Yes.
So they're probably loosening, prying, rocks and stuff up top there, and preparing big chunky boys that they can heft as well. Like in Bannerlord, the big
funk.
Funk.
Yeah.
I want to hear that sound. I'm going to hear that sound in my head. That little X pop up.
100%. With the 5 kills. Yeah, the 10 names in your kill count.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing up there. And other guerrillas will be doing these scorpion traps, right? Catching these scorpions, putting them in breakable jars and stuff, and just lightly burying them under the sand.
Like these little pots, right? These little ceramics, and kind of so that if there's some pressure from a rock or from the ground, that if it gets pushed or moved, it cracks the pot, and these little scorpions are going to pop out and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe a couple of snakes in there for good measure.
Yeah. So what's the go point? What's the go signal? The first thing to happen?
The go signal is when the forces of Maekar sort of make it past the camouflage boys and they start filtering in.
Yeah.
The Order will be stood there at the van, and they're doing the shield deal. And it's when, I would say probably when that force is about halfway in and a runnable distance from the van.
Yeah.
That's when it's go time to start throwing traps and shit. Because at least if we don't manage to get all the forces kettled in, we've at least got like half of them and they're split, so they're not a full fighting force.
Yeah.
So yeah, so till they're a good distance in, and Miria and the van will be stood right there, like challenging them. They'll be smacking their spears on their shields, waiting and calling them forward, basically.
Okay, so like a dupe, but they're trying to actually lure them in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
She's trying to really rely on that arrogance and pride of Maekar, and seeing him in that dream, where he's just pushing forward to come and get her. She's betting on that happening.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you can set all of that up and position you and the van with the Karens backing you up. There's a little bit around the corner from where that narrow path is. The narrow path being the kind of center of this, effectively this column kind of battlefield. You can fit all of the, Maekar's army in that whole pathway. Mm-hmm. Not the pathway in the center, but like the whole battlefield with that, hidey, shadowy place at the back, then the little pathway, and then your opened out potholey bit. So you can position yourself either to kind of half surprise their vanguard by being a little bit further around the corner, and you can get all of their boys definitely in this area and in this vulnerable position and ambush all of them. Or you can be a bit further forward. You can get most of their boys up towards you. The likelihood is that they will see you fairly early on. They might try and then organize. But you can split them up and cut them off further back so that they're disjointed and there's a little bit less of a coherent fighting force around you. So which option did you want to go for?
I think the best option is to be a little bit around the corner and get the whole force, because if I don't, Fowler is going to be between two forces and they will be just fucked at the back. So yeah, it's just going to just be around the corner. And it works too, because like they will have to come through that 3 abreast funnel. If they really want to charge, they're going to have to like extremely reduce their number, which is perfect for us.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So Lord Fowler makes his way to the other end of the field and he wishes you well. And before the battle, that's the last you see of Lord Fowler. And he takes a contingent. What I imagine is happening is that they're taking a bit of each other's forces, because Fowler needs a lot of either armored troops or fighting, soldiers or spearmen or something to kind of have that flank. And then all of the archers are up on that left-hand side with Manwoody. And he's kind of made that decision so that he's got an entire flank that he can come on and keep under control and focus fire on people with. And then you, headed up by the Order of the Blood Royal, have got the van, but then you've also got Lord Karen, who, not just with his forces, but again has got like a contingent of some of the cavalry, armoured footmen, some of the actual soldier, like foot soldier forces with him as well. And so you set up the following morning with the vultures having reported that they've set up those ambush points, those boulders, and all the scorpion pods are ready to go. And so that morning feels like an eternity, and you just wait the sun out. What's your kind of command kind of attitude here as you wait? Is this more relaxed, or are you expecting your forces to be formed up and basically ready for any number of hours?
I think initially quite relaxed. She wants people in position, but knowing that getting the men formed up and waiting is a huge knock on morale for a start and just gets them anxious. So, she does the rounds, she's quite like a hands-on sort of commander. So she's going around to like talking just to soldiers and stuff, just being like, little small talk with them. But as the sort of morning draws on a little bit, and probably reports, she's probably constantly getting reports, the best she can from the scouts. As they get closer, that order goes out to form up.
Yeah. So from up above you, on the left-hand cliffside, there's like a scrabble, and a few small rocks like jut down the cliffside and fall and crackle along the floor. And a couple of the order look up, and some of Pierce Caron's forces in the rest of the van look up towards one of your scouts, who, in a kind of stage whisper, calls out as quietly as he can to your forces that they've made eyes on the first of the column. And so you can imagine from your dream the first foot soldiers or cavalry slowly making their way along the path, along this passage. Either the horses being led by their support units or squires or something like that. But they head and they make their way up. And then
I think at this point, Miria, she's probably had, a helmet. She's not carrying her shield and stuff around with her helmet stuff at the side. She goes and picks it up and feels very ill. But, she helmet on, down, and there's that shot, right, where it just a hand down and the nose bar is down, and that determination look. The little scarf comes up over her nose to protect from the dust, and there's that creak of leather as she straps on her shield and she moves into position.
It's dead silent in chat, and I'm like,
I know.
What's going on?
Chat, I need you, chat.
No.
No.
We're not. We're gone. We've gone.
You're my emotional support, chat.
That's why we even got you. We even got them below you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Along with the ghost of Oliver, I noticed. Thanks, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so again, there is a nervous wait before you can start hearing that kind of click of hooves slowly walking forward along the ravine. And then rather unceremoniously, around the corner, you see a brown horse's head pop round. And then you see a Stormlander knight carrying the shield of House Dondarrion. This doesn't look like a lord or maybe a particular knight of quality, but this is definitely maybe a member of their cavalry or a soldier or a lesser knight with their forces. And so he kind of trots forward, and then as he swears to the seven, his horse rears up, and then just he kind of calms it, slightly stands, and then you can hear, and it just reverberates around this ravine, form up, enemies ahead. And then he pauses again and he looks over and he just shouts another one word: Ironwood. And so there's him, and there are maybe a handful of other knights or footmen who are kind of heading up and looking around, and they're kind of formed and they're on standby, but there's like 5 of them, and they're not doing anything. But in this moment, is there anything you want to do rather than just stand there and look intimidating?
Yeah, Maria, the cry for hold goes out around the men, and she just, they start that slow with the shield and spear, like 100% for intimidation.
Yeah. You can they kind of turn and then they head back around the corner, and then you can hear more people forming up, and you hear horns blasting as well around the ravine. And if you wait there for a while, for a good few minutes, you finally see a column of soldiers move up, and then walking his horse very slowly through this column and towards the front, just in front of his men, Lord Dondarrion speaks to you. And he says, "Who commands these forces?"
Miria is going to step just slightly forward of her shield wall. And she calls back, "Lady Miria Sand of Ironwood, guardian of the Boneway, the Blood Royal. And who do I have the pleasure of addressing?"
I don't know, it is for her first name. "I am Lord Harmon Dondarrion. What is this? Make way for his grace, Prince Maekar Targaryen, the Hammer. And Lord Bloodraven."
"As is my right as Blood Royal, as a free woman of this kingdom, I am protecting my land. The Prince Bloodraven," and she almost spits that name out, "and yourself are not welcome on my land. I do not recognize your authority. Turn away now."
"It is the authority of his grace, King Daeron II, Lord Protector of the Realm, and King of these 7 kingdoms. And if you will not recognize his authority, we will show it to you." And there are more trumpet blasts until you can hear the crack and the cries in the distance of boulders loosening from their positions and crashing down. And there's some confusion amongst their ranks that you can see, and some unease as men start to turn around and look. And then, as disciplined as they are, they start to talk a little, and Dondarrion's horse starts to spook a little, and he kind of moves around, and he's looking back at you to try just to make sure he's not being attacked, but then he's looking back around to see what's going on before he kicks his horse without speaking a word to you further, and he heads back into his flank, and he's yelling for his men to form up and start pushing forward.
Yeah, at this point, Miria slips back into her shield wall, and she yells, "Men of Ironwood, now is the time. We guard the way." And then we guard the way.
Yeah. And you're waiting for them to advance, right?
Yeah.
So there's some forming up before they start to square off against you, and then it feels disorganized. It feels a little bit wrong. They clearly are spooked by something behind them and what's going on, and then you can hear the cries of "Archers!" As they are calling out, spotting your men on the cliffs, as then suddenly you can hear yelps of men and people falling to their deaths from that pathway, from that ravine, and you can hear confused cries, and it really starts to sound like a battle now in that corner. But you know that really the engagement is more clever than this, more contained than this. It sounds like there's a melee happening right in the middle of this canyon, but you know better. And so you're not sure whether it was Dondarrion, one of his sergeants, or whether it was just a kind of natural momentum that started moving these troops forward. And then after a few yards, they start to move into a sprint and start to try and get up underneath your spears and start slashing and start actually trying to make their way forward. And there's desperation in their eyes. So I'm going to need you, please, to make me an agility quickness check. And that's going to be modified by your armor penalty.
Okay. All right.
Or I think you can click initiative on combat and it will work.
Okay. I'm going to add a bonus die to that from the screen.
Okay.
Here we go, friends. Here we go. No penalties. 12.
Okay. So you get the drop on the soldiers coming towards you, and you can go first. So but basically, within like personal combat, there are a couple of guys at your position.
Okay. So yeah, this is going to be very, just very calm from the Ironwood side. We want to be the antithesis from the panic from the other side. So we're staying very firm, staying very in position. And with the shield wall sort of blocking that main pass, it gives the opportunity to aim as we just take a couple of very careful little pokes over the shields.
Cool.
Because I'm imagining like these big, like the Greek hoplite shields, the big round dealies, just all interlinked.
Yeah. Some large shields.
So so we're gonna do one of them.
This is an aim lesser action and a regular attack.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's a 23.
Oh fucking hell! Which is gonna be 3 degrees of success. I think 10, 15, 24 degrees of success. So 16 damage. So you basically, you're patient and you take aim, and as the first soldier comes in front of you, you just step aside and slash into his center. And then Sam changes the music so that it's super battle-y.
Nymeria who? Got myself with that one.
Oh my god. All right, so there's a second boy to take its place straight away. So we're going to be rolling fighting.
I want them to have to climb over the bodies of their buddies,
12 against your combat
Nah.
defense. No? Fuck me. Okay. So this guy comes in and it, hits and slashes and cracks a blow or two on your shield, and you can see the desperation in his eyes. And there's already probably the first rank of their soldiers, because they're a little bit underprepared. Like they're getting spanked. Like they're like you. It's a cautious attack. They're the ones who almost at a kind of disadvantage for charging, and you you've skewered the first guy. There's soldiers left and right of you who are just skewering the men in front of them and slashing through them. Who was that? What do we get? What? Oh, okay. Pope gives another bonus die to Miria. Okay, you're just waiting to spend them. Now. Waiting for it to spend them. Fucking hell.
Look, if there was ever a time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, so you, okay, he doesn't hit, and you get a chance to attack back.
All right, same again. We're just being very calm, very collected, choosing our moments. 24.
That's another guy sliced.
I don't like this though, because these are the very good rolls.
What are you getting there? 3 6s? Yeah, 2 6s, 3 6s. Don't waste them. Thanks, Roll20. Okay. Second guy buys it. And so this flank, their first couple of rows are starting to fall, but they are also starting to skewer some of the Blood Royal guys. Guys are being pulled back, and then people taking their place. So there's a little bit less cohesion as you start to stand there. Are you pushing ahead to start slowly moving forward?
Yeah. So after that first couple of rows of boys, and after the shield strategy is proving less successful, as they are starting to, get over the shields and hurt members of the Blood Royal, it's going to be that order then to just advance. And then now we're starting the squish.
The squeeze. Yeah. Okay, absolutely.
And then Karen can, actually do something. Beyond sit there with his little lute.
Isn't it a harp or some shit?
Or a harp. Yeah, whatever the fuck he does. With his little wax mustache.
Can I imagine him just playing in the background? Just chilling with his little harp. This is my travel harp.
This is travel harp.
Like a mini version.
A lyre. Yeah, that's right. A little lyre. That's a smaller harp, right?
There you go.
He thinks he's like bolstering the troops. Everyone's like, this fucking wanker. Please play something other than Wonderwall.
This twat. Okay. So another boy rolls an 11. Doesn't hit you.
Nope.
You'll go again.
All right. Boom. 13. There we go.
There's the rolls. That is still 2 degrees of success. So that's 8 damage.
Mm-hmm.
-3, 5. Okay. So he is still up. So hang on, how many have you killed? 2? I'm keeping a count, that's all. Of like how deep this rank is maybe and what's going on. We just killed 2 boys, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we've killed 2.
Yeah, so this is the 3rd boy. Okay.
I'm padding my kill score.
Yeah. It's getting the XP up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like as much as we're just like rolling, it's like this is the grind of the melee. This is the kind of meat grinder, right? Where actually you're starting to step over dead bodies now, and like the stench of them as they die, as like gases escape out of them, and like half of them like shit their britches. Like it's a really disgusting smell in the heat of the morning as well, even though it's
sweat.
Yeah, and the sweat as well. The kind of, you can taste the iron of your blood in your mouth as you're like pushing forward, and your muscles are starting to just like twinge and tighten a little bit as you fight. This boy rolls a 5 and is absolutely miserable at it.
Well, let me retort with a 24.
With a 24, that's a 3rd boy down. And the formation is just starting to shift a little bit, and you can see that the left, which is actually the narrower corner of the two, the longer corner being the right, is starting to push that bit forward, just that little bit further forward. Do you want to concentrate on fighting, or do you want to try and provide some cohesion for your troops?
Yeah, so Miria's position, I don't think she's like right in the very, very front. I think she's maybe like a step, like, one of the spears behind the initial shield wall. So she's seeing that sort of that breaking of formation. She wants to try and get that shit in line, because breaking a Macedonian phalanx, for example, is bad tactical decisions. You got to stay formed up. So yeah, I'm gonna try and hit my F1, F3.
Charge. They'll just lose cohesion completely.
Oh yeah, charge is F3.
F5.
Huh?
F5, shield
F5.
wall. F5.
Shield wall.
We remember. Video game references. Right. The Order of the Blood Royal. Discipline 0. This is a difficulty 0 test. You can you can just succeed, or you can roll and get some... God, what system are we rolling in now? You can get some degrees of success. I don't know what that looks like, but narratively we'll make it funky.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Why not roll? Welfare command?
Yes.
18. But here's a fun thing that I can do for free.
Yeah.
I get two command actions with my benefit, so I can just re-roll that if I want and use a action to do that.
Yeah.
And gotta take the better. 18 was the better
18.
one.
What is 3 degrees of success? What kind of extra benefit do you want to get out of this? It's a very good command. So cohesion starts to form up together, and the spacing gets better, and they level out.
Okay. What about if it makes them like harder to hit? So then they're a more cohesive defensive unit, because this battle is about being defensive rather than offensive.
All right,
so
yeah.
it makes them sturdier, like less likely to lose someone on the front.
Warfare formation, shield wall. You can add 5 to your defense for the next round. Personally,
I'll take it.
But they'll keep that up, and I'll kind of factor that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the trained infantry, they're going to start to panic a bit. I'm going to give them some reckless attacks here.
Ooh.
So they're on that. They're really only on that? That's fucking rubs. 14 against your combat defense.
With my +5, no.
Another 14 with your combat defense. Okay. Is that like, how close is that? If and if it is close, what does that look like in terms of you defending that?
So 14 is my combat defense. So I imagine that these but with the +5 bonus,
it misses, right? So it's like a 19 at the moment.
Yeah. So
okay.
I imagine that one of these boys is it spots a gap or something in the shield wall, and sees oh fuck, there's the commandos, and goes in for a reckless, the eye on the prize, tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been guilty of that or anything. And just goes. But at that moment, as he sort of comes over with his sword, whatever the infantryman's using.
Yeah. Sword or spear? Spear, probably.
The shield just sort of forms up in front of him, and just he just bounces off it. It just.
Nice. Yeah. So 2 of these guys come forward to you and bounce off these shields, and the formation starts to just push forward. And so now you manage to slowly advance, and as you can round the corner, you can see ahead of you, past the fighting, as maybe you duck just back a row or 2 just to get some command perspective of what's going on. And as you're pushing and you're kettling this army into this narrow ravine and trying to get them off these cliffs, you can see the arrows firing down from that left side, and then picking off soldiers one by one. There's Wilhelm screams all over the place as guys are dropping off that narrow passageway in the center of the terrain. You've got this open space even around this corner, and so you can see more immediately that there are pockets of disorganized troops, as they're not sure exactly kind of what to do. And there's a few kind of archers maybe along the middle of the column that if they, feel a little secure in their footing and everything, they're not, falling over, they're exchanging arrow fire up the cliff as well. It's not as successful, and you can see them glancing off the very tip of the cliff, and or just overshooting and not quite judging it, as they've really got the disadvantage on the terrain. But you can see Targaryen forces, so these heavily armored, black enamel with red piping and detail work in them, and a few of the knightly helms have those dragon kind of features to them, enameled in red as well. And they're starting to possibly either try to move up, or they're starting to try and route and move back, and they're actually pushing their own guys off the side of the cliff. as well. But then you can see as well from the location where the traps and the boulders have come down that your vultures are flinging little stones with their slings, or they're throwing some javelins and stuff down into the ravine, and they're actually catching guys kind of unawares and skewering them rather lovingly. Lovingly. The Fowlers, you can just make out in the distance. There's a couple of banners flying there that show you that they're advancing up to the other side. Is there anything? Roll me awareness notice quickly.
I was just gonna ask.
I'll give you some questions to ask.
Awareness notice. 21. Let's go.
Jesus Christ. Okay. You can ask me 4 questions about this battle and what this scene you're seeing in front of you.
Is there any sign at the minute of Spooky Bitch herself, Bloodraven, and the Raven's Teeth?
No.
Cool. Love that for me. Do I see Maker?
Yes. Maker is on the other side of that narrow pass, so he's more towards he's cusping the kind of middle and the rear flanks in between them, this column of troops. Dondarrion's at the van, and it looks like Maker is leading the middle. And so he is trying to form up his soldiers as best he can and he's basically starting to pick and choose, gather his knights, and with an aim probably to move ahead, to press forward.
Okay. What is the sun like right now? Is there much in the way of direct sunlight into the valley, or is it still very shadowy? Like
there is. So yeah. In the middle of this battlefield, where there's this narrow passage, it's bright open sunlight. The cliffs around where you are provide some shadow, mostly for, as this is morning, mostly for the right-hand side of where you are. But the left part of your flank is just starting to get hit by the sun there from the shadow of the cliff, and the cliff over, in that ravine, that's in a fair amount of shadow in a similar position as the passage runs north south. Okay. It's where you are, the right side of it's in shadow, the left side of it is just getting the sun.
Okay, cool. And then so there's pockets of disorganized Dondarrion boys. Dondarrion's not looking too good. Makey's getting feisty. Can't see Bloodraven, and Fowlers seem to be all right. Have the scorpion traps popped?
Yes, so you can see that horses have spooked or bolted, and the ones that are still there are looking spooked. So if they haven't gone off the cliff, then they're really worried. And you can just visually from those horses, those kind of cues you've got from kind of animal handling, you can tell that they've been spooked by those scorpions. And you can see there are soldiers too who are looking below to their feet and are kind of dancing around and trying to move out of the way of stuff. So yeah, they're really the center is very disorganized right now. And they're starting to break up. There is basically there's Killzone in the middle, and then the forces have kind of been split. So the van with Dondarrion is trying to fight you off and not get pushed back into the middle, while the middle is falling away down the cliffs and getting arrowed to death. And then the rear is getting hit by the Fowlers, and they're trying to hold off as best they can. So they have been attacked by both sides.
Okay, cool. So upon that, then Miria is gonna, really go and pushing forward. So she knows she's got Karen at her back, backing her up. She can see that this front is desperately trying not to become the middle, which is a shit show right now. So she wants the front to become the middle, which is a shit show right now. So it's advance, and they're taking more it was very like a step, stab, step, stab, and now it's like step, 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 stab, step, 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 stab. It's. And she kind of wants to try as best she can, maneuver it so that her troops are not fighting into the sun. You know, so they are on the right in the shadow, so they don't have the sun in their eyes.
Okay. Yeah. So you do that. You start to wheel the formation around and trying to keep it to the right-hand side. But as you do, and as you start making your way more towards the middle, and the footmen that were on the van, who weren't proving as much of an issue, are, you're walking over them. So there are fewer and fewer of them. And so with some knights both on horseback and armoured footmen moving up to you now, they start to, and Dondarrion indicates to them to start using that flank to try and start moving around your left-hand side. And so they start hitting a little bit of that left, and they start making way into that left-hand side. And a few of the order on your left flank start to peel away and start to fall under these knights and these soldiers. And from that, as you're trying to defend from the left, another knight is coming in from your right-hand side.
Karen, buddy, this is your fucking time. This is what you're here for. You shit.
They're reinforcing the rear. They're up behind you. They haven't quite caught up with what's going on yet. So, you're gonna go first though, as this knight approaches you, and he is decked. So he's
a full-on plate mail boy.
This is a full armored plate boy. Dondarrion shield. Obscured face with the visors and everything. Like, he is ready to start stabbing some people.
Does he have a slit visor?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna try for an aim shot with the spear and get him in that fucking visor.
Nice.
With a 20.
A 20 is 14's 2, 19's 3. 3 degrees of success.
Okay.
Let me write his things down.
Is that double his Wasima chops combat defense?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I ignore 2 of his AR.
Cool. Okay.
I deal my damage.
So you are doing was it 3 degrees of success? 12 damage. Come on, Sam. It's only maths. Okay. So we're taking away that many of his health. Okay. He is going to have a little fight back with his longsword. I am going to spend 1 of my bonus die.
I wish you wouldn't.
Well... 1,000,000,000 degrees. Who was that? I can't remember. Bonus dice. 1. No penalty dice. Let's go. 23 against your combat defense.
Yeah. Okay. So my combat defense is 14. So that would be 19. It's 2 degrees.
2 degrees of success. Not double.
No.
Which is good, because it was 2 6s in there. Okay, 2 degrees of success lands me... Did I actually put this in here? Yes, okay. Oh, I should have put that. It's a 24, actually.
24?
It is actually a 24. He's got a Castle Forge bastard sword.
Hang on. So, 19...
It's 3 degrees of success. No, hang on. So 14 is your combat defense. That's 1 degree of success. 19 is 2 degrees of success. Add 5 to that. 24. 3 degrees of success. Okay. Remember those numbers. You're going to remember your combat defense a lot more than I'm going to be figuring out all of my combat defenses. I'm going to write Makars down before we get there. I'm going to write Blood Ravens down before we get there.
Let's write them
down as reference now. Fucking hell. Okay. No modified to damage. He does 0 damage. What the fuck are you talking about? It's athletics. What is this?
Let's go.
He does 12 damage.
Yikes. Okay.
Why does it say no damage? That's so weird. It's literally right there. Oh well, whatever. Okay. Your move.
I would like to use a free action to cry. And then I'm gonna stab this fucker in the face again. I'm gonna use a bonus die. I'm gonna aim as well because I can. So that's gonna be
Like another bonus die, right? Yeah. Aim +1 bonus on your fighting marksmanship tests.
Wait, that can't be right. Nope, that is right. Okay.
You can use custom roll down the bottom there if you want as well. As long as it works out.
In 19, fuck me.
Oh yeah. 19 is 3 degrees of success.
Okay, so that's another 12.
Another 12 damage. Is it? Oh, that was the same as last time. Okay, this stuff, like, your hits are good, and the armor is doing its job. This, like, castle-forged plate is just, like, glancing off of his chest, his shoulders, his arms. It's even the weak points are managing to, like, hold off on the thing there. Stabby Rock donated £3. Yeah, you get a bonus dice again. Well done, Stabby Rock. The Stabby Rock... No, not for me. God's sake. The Stabby Rock comes back from the dead and has to help you out.
I'm gonna need it, chums.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, this boy is looking meaty. There is always an option to try and fall back, you know, into your flank, and then your forces to deal with him.
Yeah, I think that's probably what she's gonna do here because she's taken a solid hit from him. So I imagine it's probably like caught like an upper arm or something. It's like gone under a scale and it's a good slice.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
So she just falls back a little bit.
Okay.
Because she knows this boy ain't her target.
Yeah. As you fall back, you start to see more of Karen's men and the men that are accompanying him from the foot soldiers he's borrowed from the other lords start to move in and start to mingle with your Blood Royal boys. But more of these knights and more of the middle, which seems to be more of their like elite fighters and maybe more of the guards that are around the royals, the royal family there. Like, they're coming forward, and so there starts to be this loss of cohesion as naturally, you know, you can't quite delineate the front anymore as you are caught just, and it's this kind of weird Battle of the Bastards moment where you're just caught in the middle of this fray and no one's quite attacking you just this minute, but you're now like in all of this, and people are like getting pulled off of horses, are getting stabbed through with spears, are getting cut down by like Dondarrion knights. What's your next move, personally speaking?
Personally speaking, until Maekar advances or the Ironwood forces and Karen forces can push further, she's just going to try and keep everybody's shit together as best as she can. She knows, like, losing cohesion, losing your discipline in this fight will get you killed. So she's just trying to form up.
Yeah, okay. Let me check here.
So she's yelling out orders, you know, she's pulling men up off the ground.
Make me a formidable 12 difficulty warfare command test.
Okay.
As you try to reorganize these boys.
Let's use a bonus die.
Okie dokie.
No, not 10, just 1.
Wow. No. Hacks.
Oh! Okay. I can do it every turn. I can do the reroll.
We're not playing by turns, mate. Well, this is
right.
we rolled a warfare test, and this is narrative.
Yeah, we did.
Early in the week. This is a narrative. Like this is how we're playing the game. So these things matter. So as you're doing everything you can. You are and I love that it's an 11. You are screaming at people to get back up, to form a line. Don't lose momentum on that side. Don't lose this flank. Form up on the right and push forward and just get people off this cliff. But they're moments in time. As you move past one, you move into the other, and you're just trying to help people as you're, like, you know, stabbing someone through the back as you're trying to secure one of the flank of the Karen guys that are coming from the left. And then you're pushing forward to try and secure more of a line with your order. Who was your sergeant of the order again?
Lysander.
Sir Lysander is backed up into a corner, fighting for his life on the right-hand side as a knight, Targaryen knight, on horseback is, like, leering over him and has a spear in hand and is just thrusting and poking and, like, trying to maneuver his horse around to, like, actually get him right up against the cliff. As you approach, he actually drops the spear in the end, brings out his bastard sword and just starts hacking down as quickly as he can at the guy.
Okay, Miria is like, fuck, okay, he's the guy, we can't lose him. And she's gonna, let me just look at the attacks that I can do. I'm gonna do something stupid, I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna go in for, let's go in for a reckless attack on this horse-bound knight boy.
Okay, that's a greater action. So yeah, you can only reckless attack. So +1 dice to your fighting test, -5 to your combat defense for this round.
Let's add a bonus die to that as well. While I'm here, feeling spicy. So I'll be rolling. Okay. Oh my god.
Good narration. An 18 is
hello.
2 degrees of success.
12. No, 8. Fuck, it's nothing. But hopefully, you know, it will distract him a little bit, and then Sir Lysander can do something, buddy.
Yeah, and so he splits his attack between you and Lysander, and so what happens here is we split the test die and the bonus dice up. So I am going to assign, because you're kind of on his side, effectively coming up and trying to attack him from the rear, he's going to then try and move around, going to give you... actually split his dice evenly, because he's attacking on horseback, it's a +1 dice. So it will be 3 and 1 bonus die from his actual skills. Total dice pool is 4, drop 1, 1 for the Castle Forge modifier, 15 against your combat defense.
1 degree.
1 degree of success nets him 4 damage.
Okay.
So that's tanked on your scale. So he's like slashing right and then left, like over his horse. So you've got the momentum to try and parry the blow. I think you actually managed to just catch it and glance it on the shield, but it like cuts across you quickly as again he slashes down at Lysander and then moves his horse round and starts kind of hammering down on you as that it's the impact rather than the slicing that, you know, just kind of pushes you back. But yeah, it doesn't cause any damage. Back over to you. You've distracted the guy. So, you've got enough of him now. Yeah.
So now that I am not an immediate like, oh fuck, we've got 2 on either side, me and Lysander, and he's just like, she's going to take a second to try and get one of his weak points. I mean, he's up on horseback. He's elevated, which means the gaps in his like tassets and stuff are really visible. In his armpits. Turns out, in his armpits. Turns out. Right. So we're gonna
spend any boys?
Nah. Fuck, I should have. It was a 15. How many once?
Just shake him out now.
Yeah, just
shake it off. 2 degrees of success.
8.
So again, you're locked in this stalemate of just smashing metal onto plate, and he is slashing down at your scale mail as it glances off, and the all the links do their work effectively, until suddenly a arrow strikes right through his neck, and he flops on his horse. The horse kind of bucks and heads straight kind of into a little bit the cliff wall, and then kind of skirts round and bolts through the rest of the forces to your rear. And Lysander looks up at you, and he's cut down the side, like down the front here, down the collarbone. You can see it's like broken and a little bit kind of protruding a bit from the wound, but he's kind of bleeding, like kind of snot coming out of his nose, and he's just kind of looking up at you, just breathing like his like exhausted breaths. As you guys have been going, like actually fighting, like for like 10-15 minutes, as you've just you've just kept this up, and you can, as you look around you, just see everybody in the order. The Caronsmen have got a little bit more kind of bolstered because of they've just been fighting a bit less, but the order is just looking bloodied and exhausted at this point. And again, there's like no cohesion around. What did you want to do next?
So like out of like battle-y, fighty, rolly actions right now, she helps Lysander up, and she can see that he's like fucked, and she like grabs his arm and like pulls him in so he can hear her, and she's like, command the men, pull back, we're not retreating, we want them to follow us back.
And he nods, and then he kind of not heavily, but he like kind of limps over towards the center. There's a footman comes rushing towards him, and as you're looking back at him, he just sees him quick, and you see like a spin of a sword and then a slash, and just cuts the guy down as he comes up to him. And then you can hear him as he shouts away from you to for the order to pull back and reform back round the corner, as the Karen guys start advancing forward again, and a couple more footmen start advancing towards you. So you, I believe... Well, let's roll off again quickly for agility, because we didn't do that recently. Did I just...
18.
Infantry.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Agility. Oh no, I've got initiative here somewhere. 4. So if you want to do any spinny slashies to cut them down before they get to you, go for it.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna pull out some like sick fucking spear spin slash bullshit. In theory. We'll see if it happens.
Roll. See what roll 20
17.
says. Right, hang on. Combat defense. This should be simple. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, that is simple, Sam. Well done. 2 degrees. 3 degrees of success.
That would be a 12.
12. Yeah, okay. So you... because this is exactly what you needed, exactly the damage you needed to actually defeat the guy. I think this is like... you kind of like fight him off a couple of times, and then your spear gets caught in like the hard leather that he's got on, just to the kind of cuirass that he's got, and then you just kind of like push and twist, and then finally there's that crunch as he just like looks you in the eye, and that's his last moment, as he just then kind of falls back as his mate then pushes up towards you and starts to try and attack you. So that was your aim and then action.
Oh,
yeah, okay.
Then there's that badass moment, right, where like the camera is this guy's body and Miria's spear through the back, and as she pulls it out, he drops.
Yeah.
And she's just there like panting.
We've got a high angle shot of the next guy coming in as you like, parrying him away. Fighting 11 against your combat defense is not going to hit. 14, and so it's back over to you.
Okay, so for this one, I think she maneuvers around him rather than just tanks it. As he comes in for the attack, she's using the momentum from pulling that spear back to maybe like do a little pirouette backwards. Even though you shouldn't pirouette in battle because it's very bad.
It's a terrible idea.
Terrible idea, but it looks very cool on screen.
Yeah.
So she pirouettes backwards, and I think this one just straight through his throat. Like, if he's lifting up his head to bring the sword down, she just
Yeah, and with 4 degrees of success, it's like it's a precise point, precise maneuver, and you manage to just slice and then pull back, and then he is down. Ahead of you, you can see that well, the obvious moments are you made Makar's location before, and again you can just about see him now dismounted, and you can just maybe make him out in the passing bodies behind his men in the middle, and you can see that they are starting to form up. And under his command, and him famously being known to be able to rally troops, not rally, yes, rally, not, yeah. He is starting to organize them to push along this column and get shields up effectively, and they are starting to have some cohesion. So he's reorganized the middle, and he is pushing them forward to help the Dondarrion forces, because the van is starting to fall away. It's really just the kind of better fighters that are left standing. And then your stomach sinks as you can see not only arrows firing down across into the middle and still picking off 1 or 2 people, but you can see like a wave of arrow fire arc across the sky from the right to the left, and the archers on the left cliff to you are starting to fall back or down the cliff wall as they're being hit by arrows from the cliff on the right hand side, and you can just make out some specks of archers silhouetted against the morning sky. Roll me an awareness notice check.
Okay. 16.
Okay, so with 3 degrees of success, what 3 things did you want to find out? What 3 things did you want to notice?
Okay, so Mr. Aimhack has arrived and is shooting at my archers. How are the archers looking? Are they just totally wrecked, or are they returning fire back to the Raven's Teeth?
There's a good few archers up there in that unit, because you've got a nice mixed army that you assembled. It's not like in warfare terms for the actual rules. You've just got one unit of like 100 dudes. You've got like maybe 2 or 3 units actually clumped up all together, but they've got issues because from what you can see as another arc of arrow fire arcs across the sky, and it hits every single target. This is the most elite. Well, because they're a flank. They're in loose formation. They're a flank, but they're managing to hit every single man because this is the most well-renowned archer unit possibly in history.
Okay.
So
they're not looking too good.
They've got the aim bots and they're using them.
Okay. I'd like to file a report. I suspect that this player is cheating.
Nah, ignored.
Okay. With the order sort of pulling back, trying to get back towards more of the choke point, are the Dondarrion Makar digbag forces following? Are they pursuing, or are they just trying to clear that middle?
Do you mean heading towards you or heading back towards the rear? Sorry, I disassociated.
Yeah, they're coming towards they're coming towards us as we're retreating. Are they seeing this as like, oh, they're retreating, let's smash them as they're running?
It's not that they're seeing it more as an opportunity, more as they are just organizing, and this is the direction they want to go because they can see that the rear is in trouble.
All right. Okay.
So the rear of their forces took the most brunt from the ambush, I think, in terms of the rock falls, and the archers were hitting the middle. But all of the little surprises you had, and the fact that they're still getting hit by the vultures means that, and they're trying to get up to them as well. The vultures aren't in a perfect position; like they can be got at, and they've probably suffered a few casualties, but they are still attacking them at least.
Okay. And the Fowlers, how are they doing? Are they still looking pretty cohesive?
Yeah, they are actually. From the flags that you can see, it looks as if they've still blocked off the rear, and so they've got an effective line to stop them fleeing. But it's this van where you are that is losing its cohesion, and unless you're in the center of like where all that's going on over there, you're not quite sure exactly where their front is or where like how cohesive they are, but they're still there, and they look like they're still fighting.
Okay, so with this information, Miria is going to call out, about the archers up on the left.
So your right, they're up ahead of you on your right, and then
my right.
Your archers are on your left, just up above you.
Right. Okay, so she's going to draw attention to the Blood Raven archers, the Raven's Teeth.
Yeah.
And she's going to call to fall back to this choke point, because it will provide them some cover as well from the archers if the Raven's Teeth start to fire upon them.
Yeah.
So that's the main order, and it's for the Blood Royal to just have a breather too, because they've been fighting in the very, very front. So it's time for Karen to cycle forward so they can take that front for a bit, and then that's the idea is to like rotate a little bit so that no one force is fighting the whole brunt of it.
Okay, yeah. And
so the men back can get like water and minor, on the field first aid that they can do.
Yeah. Field wounded taken care of. Okay. So as they cycle out, the Karen forces move ahead. They're fairly cohesive in pockets, but as Maekar manages to rally those forces, there is a little bit of they're not caring as much now about that narrow passageway. They're trying to make their way as precisely but as fast as they can across it whilst avoiding that arrow fire. So a couple of guys drop off, unfortunately, to either to being wounded or to their deaths, because it's not a sheer drop. There are like those little platforms, like I said, these kind of natural mesas or anything. But then a couple of arrows are still going at them, but the arrow fire from your side is absolutely diminished from the assault, the barrage that they're just getting. Arrow after arrow, hit after hit from the vulture's teeth. But they're exchanging a bit of fire back towards Bloodraven's forces as well. So there's a little bit of a fight there. But you are close enough to the front and the Karen forces that you can see that both Dondarrion and Maekar are leading from the front, and they are just carving swathes through the front rank as Maekar is just smashing boys with this like giant mace that he's got, and his armor, as I read earlier today, so he's like thickly built and powerful looking. His armor is decorated with black carved dragon teeth along the shoulders on these giant pauldrons, and you can see kind of bits of, like down the back as well. And then the crest of his helm has dragon teeth on it as well. As he pushes forward, you can see that very familiar to you, crest of 4 quartered Targaryen red dragons enameled on the front of his armor and on his shield. Dondarrion, with his lightning bolt emblem, is again with his bastard sword slashing and cutting and stabbing, and they at the front, a bit like you were right at the beginning of the battle, are pushing their force forward, and they're trying to do what you were doing. They're trying to step forward and just stab a fool. And Karen, they're basically now in this area, in this like pit, they're like, you're basically fighting on corpses. There's not one place where you can get away from the death and the destruction that you guys have wrought to this canyon. So they are just stepping on people, bones crunching underneath their heavy forms as they're slashing and stabbing and moving forward.
Oh.
It's at that point that Lord Pierce Karen, you can see from your left-hand side bolts towards Maekar, who is on his right. So they're on the same flank of your formation, and so he moves straight for Maekar.
It's not very smart, Pierce. Sam, may I take a very quick break? I've been drinking a lot of water out of stress. I need to BRB very quickly.
Yeah, of course. We'll go on to the be back soon screen, and then we'll be back in like 2 secs. There we go.
Nailed it.
Hello, we're back.
Oh shit! Hang on.
We have paid. Oh.
I'm good. I'm just trashing my desk. Don't worry about it.
Don't do that. Okay.
So
Lord Pierce Karen has just charged Maekar Targaryen.
Sure has.
Out the front. And they are scuffling.
Oh. Weird.
Dondarrion is over to your right-hand side of that flank, and he is, carving his way through some boys, but he is fighting off 2 or 3 people.
Okay. Well, Prince Maekar seems awful busy right now and distracted with Lord I don't want to die Karen. Strange tactic. Going after Maekar if you don't want to die. Speaking of, Miria is going to break off from the Blood Royals and advance towards Maekar. And when she's like, because I imagine on the way there's a couple of footmen, right, where it's just like fodder, just cutting them down as she moves towards them. But as she gets close, she pops that vial of poison, and there's a very quick coating of the blade with a gloved hand, because she doesn't want to touch this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's time to engage Hunky Makey.
Okay. Is there any kind of challenge that you issue, or anything that you say, or anything like that before you enter the fray?
I think she calls out his name, and she doesn't say Prince. She just screams Maekar at him.
it kind of moves Lord Pierce and Prince Maekar back from each other, and rather dramatically conveniently, Lord Pierce is then set upon by a couple more footmen, and he then has to peel off and start fighting. But Maekar, just as foreboding as he is in the center of this field, isn't then kind of aggroing anyone else, and so he just kind of looks over at you, and he doesn't say anything. He just looks over at you, and you can't really see through the slit of his helm. That's, you know, this big thing, and I can imagine, you know, in that kind of really kind of Germanic way, kind of pushes, you know, points forward into a point on two sides, and then he's got like the crest of that coming over the top. So just a visor in these holes, and so you can't quite read what, you know, he's you know, thinking necessarily, what his expression might be, but he does just kind of fairly open stance, just kind of look at you as you call out his name.
And she sort of levels the spear at him in a challenge.
And you can see that he turns his helm kind of left and right a little bit, and then squares back onto you, and then takes a step forward.
Yeah, and I think at this point, you know, any dramatic monologue she had in mind for this moment is gone, because here he is.
I love that.
You know, like she'd maybe thought she was gonna, you know, call him out for the injustices of himself and his son, but it's that moment, right, where the eyes go wide as, oh fuck, it's happening. And so she just brings up that shield, she levels out that spear, and it's that standoff moment before either of them moves.
You've just been given a bonus die and a test die by Pope, so...
Thank you, Pope.
Thank you. Okay, roll me an agility quickness test, and this is going to be reduced by your armor penalty.
Okay, I will add a bonus die to this.
Okay. And I will add a bonus die to this.
12. She's tired, man.
Add a bonus die. Penalty die. We're gonna reduce this by 6 because of his armor penalty, so that's a 9. So he strides forward, but you're quicker, and so you're within reach, because just running at each other is boring. It's like the first round of any Warhammer game.
Yeah.
So you've got a full round, and it's your turn first.
Okay, so, oh boy. All right, she's gonna go at him with an aim. She has this poison on her blade. She knows how to use it, and what she has to do. And she's just remembering in the back of her head, Samuel fucking Tarly saying, you know, go for the eyes. Because she remembers the tournament. She remembers watching that bout. So she's trying to, in that moment, recall how she saw him fight in the tournament. So she knows what she's up against. You know, it's that moment of flashing images of strategy and tactics as she's sizing up her opponent. So that all of that to say that I am going to use a bonus die and a test die, and I'm going to aim to attack him.
Taking it off me now. What's going on here?
So that's going to end up being
Lots.
10d6.
Okay. Yep.
And I need you, Roll20. I fucking need you to be my friend, because I have very few rounds to do this. Okay, here we go. 27. And there was no 6s in there.
4 degrees of success.
So that is going to be then a 16. And it hits him, so the poison makes contact with him.
If you do damage after his AR, that's how I'm going to rule that the poison hits him. So how much damage was this?
16.
Okay. And what does this attack look like?
So this attack is a very it's a very simple but very technical, like, lunge at him. And it's going for one of the weak points in his armor. So the elbow, the armpit, around the groin, like any behind the knee, any sort of place where the plate doesn't fully, like around here, is a good one.
Probably where you where he has, because he's a foreboding figure, where he has the height advantage, you actually conversely use that to your advantage. And so you manage to stab him, and you hear the crunch of the two edges of the plate around his leg and his cuirass crunch through, and you can feel the spear go into his pelvis. And so you've managed to make contact. So I need you to roll the poison, the basilisk venom, please.
Okay. Well, 20, please be kind. Because I can't use any dice on this. This is just how I go. 19 against his passive endurance.
Is 1 degree of success. So there is 1 wound added to him. He can't speak. That's right. What was the rest of that? I can't remember if it was meant to be a test he makes, or if it was like additional degrees of success. I think it was 2 degrees of success means that he, like, something happens to him, I think. Who was that? What was that?
Find it.
Oh, gift sub. Can't speak, can't rally troops. Excellent. Well, yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ham.
We don't have to listen to his monologues. All right. On a successful attack, Basilisk Venom deals 1 wound per degree. If at any time a victim gains an injury or wound from the venom, he loses the ability to speak and must succeed on a formidable 12 endurance test or take minus 1d to endurance.
So I'm looking for a 12 here.
Yeah.
On this endurance test. I am going to spend... is it resilience?
Endurance just says.
I'm going to say this is resilience, because you've got resilience or stamina are the 2 specialties.
Yep.
So I am going to use 2 bonus die here. So this is going to be... Drop. I was looking for a 12, was I?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not got penalty dice to endurance, so he's good.
He does suffer minus 1d from a wound.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what we want.
Okay. And
sting like a scorpion.
Yeah. Hopefully. And Makar is gonna come down with an almighty hit with his mace.
Yep.
Try and send you reeling from this blow. I am going to spend...
I don't want to look.
A test die. And he's going to be sacrificing his bonus dice on this roll.
Shit.
So we're going to roll...
Boy means business. I'm in trouble.
That many. We're going to drop 1 because of the wound. And we're going to add 1 because of the... Oh no, wait, I've got this... Oh, you see, I made all these macros and then I can't use them because now he's got, like, wounds and stuff. I can modify them. Give me one second. 1 second, chat.
That's what I did. I made macros for aiming. I made macros for reckless attacks. And I was like, oh yeah, but if I use bonus die or test die... Chat, lend me your energy.
Makar strikes his opponent to reel from the blow, scoring 29 against your combat defense.
Yeah. Guess what? That's also double.
2 6s means it reduces your opponent's AR by 1 until repaired. He also has Bludgeoning Fighter 1, which gives him Shattering 1 on his bludgeon, so you're going to reduce your AR by another 1.
Okay.
And so with 4 degrees of success, he deals 20 damage.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take a wound.
Okay. On a hit, you can only take a lesser action next turn.
Cool.
And you subtract 1 from all test results for each degree gained after the first. So you suffer a -3 penalty to your test results.
In the
next round. So this mace comes down on your head, and if it wasn't for the helm, it would have been like a melon on the floor at this point. Yeah. But it takes most of the blow, but your ears ring and your vision blurs as your world basically gets turned upside down, and you think you're on the floor for a second, but somehow your feet are still planted on the ground. But Makar is this blurry black form of a knight ahead of you, as he is just like smashed down on top of you with this mace. He is going to then is maneuver no, he's going to then maneuver as a lesser action.
That wasn't a greater action?
That was a standard attack.
Fuck me. Okay.
I'm stupidly quick with combat. I don't actually look, and I didn't realize. So that was a standard attack. And so look.
Well, it's gonna happen, fam. It's been a good run.
And so he is going to maneuver. He's going to make a fighting test against your passive fighting test.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your passive fighting?
My passive fighting is 16.
So he scores a 21, and you are going to take -1 dice on all tests until the start of my next turn. As that blurring vision of a knight moves over to your left, and you just can't quite keep up with how he's maneuvering around you.
Okay, so poison attack. It attacks twice, once per round.
It does. So if you want to roll that now for me. So this
16.
This is its last attack. That is just 1 degree of success.
Okay, well that's another wound, Frankie Makey.
Okay. And I need to roll another endurance test.
Yep.
Presumably with the penalty dice for the wounds.
Yeah, I would.
Right?
I would imagine so, yeah.
And this is a 12?
Yeah.
He's going to spend a destiny point to roll an additional die.
Fucking...
So what's this going to be? Okay, so this is going to be that total, take away 2 for the wound. No, it's not, because we've got resilience as well. So this is going to be that, take away 2 for the wound. No, take away 3. Come on, Sam, fucking hell. Sorry, be with you in a second.
You're alright, you're
Roll
alright.
that many. We're going to drop that many because that's in the bonus dice. And then there's no modifier. He's alright. 16, no more penalty to endurance. Okay. So he's kind of you can feel a little that he's stumbling around you, and you can hear kind of through his visor, like a little echo of it, that he like his voice is straining. He's like he's trying to speak, but it's kind of a cough and kind of a grunt or a kind of gravelly, like just weird noise as it kind of his vocal cords shrink up a little, and he just like, you know, he's moving around and trying to keep a pace as best he can with the fight.
Okay.
It is your action.
Yeah.
This is for your turn.
Okay. Hello, the Seven. It's me, Susie. Long time listener, first time caller. I need you to come through. So I can do 2 actions though, right? I'm not just limited to
2 lesser action. Oh no, you can perform 1 lesser action this round.
Oh, that's right.
Because he smacked you about the head.
Yeah.
And your tests are taking a -3 penalty this turn.
Love that for me. Okay, so what we're gonna do then is, it makes sense narratively. She's fucking concussed. She's wobbly. We're gonna do a reckless attack because it doesn't fucking matter what my combat defense is anymore. He's just gonna smash me regardless.
Reckless attack is a greater action.
Oh, is a greater action. I can't do it. Fuck.
You can make a cautious attack. You can make a standard attack.
Shit.
You can maneuver.
That's not gonna touch him.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, cautious attack is only +3. That sucks. All right. Let's try just a standard attack, and I'm gonna. I'm gonna pump 2 bonus die into it. So. That's gonna be 8. Keep 4 plus 1 -3.
-1 die for the maneuver as well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So drop another one.
Fuck. Oh, hang on. If I did a cautious attack, I wouldn't even have a chance to hit him. So yeah, we're just going normal attack. Okay. Fuck. Here we go. 15. Two sixes. But
A
15's not gonna double his
15
CR.
is going to be 2 degrees of success.
Okay, so that would be 8.
Okie dokie. So your spear comes, you're driving it several times, just kind of lashing out, but basically just kind of jabbing, just kind of moving back behind your shield is a cautious attack. So you're trying to maintain your footing, and your vision's starting to come back to you as you jab towards this like black shape. But the blows that do hit chink off the armor and crunch and just get deflected slightly, and so you maneuver back and behind the shield. So he steps forward again with a regular mace attack. This is going to be... let's just roll these here, because then it gives me the penalty dice in there as well, I think. Oh no, hang on. No, what am I going to do? What am I actually going to do rather than just be like, wow, attack? I'm going to aim an attack. That's what I'm going to do. Bonus die, another one of those. No other penalty die. 22. 2 5s,
With
2
the
6s.
2 wounds?
Yeah, I dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice there, keeping 4. So yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right, then that's going to be Brain, hello?
You got 14 as your combat defense.
Yes.
So
It's
19 is
2
2 degrees success, then 24
Yeah.
would be 3. So with 2 degrees success, he is going to do... no damage.
No damage.
What the
That's
fuck?
fine. I like that.
It's athletics plus nothing. So it is 5. So it's 10
5?
damage. 2 degrees success, 10 damage.
2 degrees, 10 damage. Okay. All right. We're still up.
Okay.
She looks terrible now, though. She looks rough. She's probably bleeding from her head.
Yeah. It's like
Down her face.
concussion is going to set in soon from the wound. But it's your turn again. That I aimed and attacked.
Yep. There wasn't the big smash. Okay. We're gonna aim and we're gonna attack.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my keep die and 1 bonus die.
Keep die and a bonus die. Yeah, I'll take those out.
Yeah.
That's your last keep die.
I
by
know.
my calculation. I'm trying to keep up with it. I really am.
I know.
I'm getting back onto Streamlabs so I can get the log of all of the stuff. I don't want to create a storefront. Go away. There we go. Event log. Here we go.
Do I still suffer that -3, or is that just gone now because it was until my next turn, or is it just
That's gone now.
I have that forever?
That's
Okay.
gone now. That's gone now.
Okay.
You've got another
I
bonus
have a
die and another
bonus,
test
so-
die from
Thanks,
Pope.
Thanks, Pope.
All hail,
All
Pope.
right. All hail. Roll 20, please. I will give you my firstborn child. I sold one for poison. I'll sell my actual real one for a good roll. 34. Oh! Sam.
That is.
It's 5 6s.
It's 4 degrees of success.
Is that double his combat defense? By any chance?
It is double his combat defense. And 5 6s by our cheat sheet is
killing blow.
a killing blow. Your Mirio is like down and like out and everything like that. What does this look like?
Hang on. Okay. So, this is going to be a couple of like little strikes. So she's down and out, and I think she drops to one knee, and she's maybe got her shoulder sagging because she's taken a huge hit to the shoulder, and she's bleeding, and she's looking down at the sand, and blood drips and sweat drips, and she's not sure if there's tears dripping there too, but there's just a lot of dripping onto the sand. And she takes that moment, that breath, as she looks back up at Maekar as he's probably primed to strike. And she wheels around in the sand, slices at the back of his knee to bring him down to one knee. And she moves up in front of him. And she, as he's down on one knee, she leans into him and says, "Ashes, nothing more," and then puts her spear up into his throat and just lets his blood gush out onto the sand.
And he flops down onto the stone floor of the canyon. The fight has moved forward a little bit. Your troops have managed to make some ground in pushing the forces back towards the middle, back towards that narrow pass. How are you looking? How are you actually looking on sheet wise?
2 fucking HP, mate, and 1 wound.
And 1 wound. You still got a couple wounds in you, don't worry.
Yeah, she's got a couple of wounds in her.
Okay. What do you what do you want to do next? You want to take stock, or do you want to press on? Do you want to retreat yourself? What would you like to do?
Okay, so thank you, Millie. Put some respect on my name in chat. Thank you. So she's gonna from this point, because I imagine, you know, there's a swirling amount of people around, and she's gonna.
Yeah, there's absolutely no battle cohesion at this point.
Yeah,
this is a full-on
mess.
Battle of the Bastards mess. It is like, you know, different colors, different tabards, and people just fighting each other. Even some people fighting allies and just mistaking them as, you know, even some of the Karen forces start to turn on each other because they're not quite sure what's going on. You know, Reachers and Dornishmen, they start old feuds or something, and you even see a little bit of that from out the corner of your eye.
She's gonna pull Makar's helm from his body. And as she retreats back into her own men, she's going to try and, you know, like, she's not going after any knights or anything like that. She's not trying to push on into the battle right now, but she holds that helm aloft and just screams, "The prince is dead," and hopes that it bolsters her men and puts the shits up the others. So she's just going to try, in this chaos, just to try and get that message out that Makar is fucking donezo.
Right.
Even if I die now, I took out Makar, and that's all that matters. I got revenge for my cousin. For Marwyn.
The who? Don't remember him.
Wow. And his head set on fire.
That's how bad it's got, right? Well,
Forget him not.
a single arrow strikes through the back of you as you hold this aloft. The back of your chest, and you can see it cutting through the scale that is kind of underneath you and kind of narrowly missing a kidney off to the left-hand side. It's you know, suspiciously off target, but that's probably due to the range. But
is it a sort of whitish wood by any chance?
Yeah. You look down and it's just this white wood with like red veins.
Cool. Yeah, it's red now.
Sharp tip, covered in your own blood. And 31 against your combat defense.
Yes.
4 degrees of success.
Yeah.
Is 16 damage.
Okay, well, I'll be taking a wound. Also, hey, watch out. There's a baby in there. Rude.
2 6s will reduce your AR by 1 as well.
Okay, yeah, I've done that.
Cool.
Yeah, so at this point, you know, she's backing up into her own forces because she's fucked.
Okay. What's your kind of actual strategy now? You can see in front of you, as you pull back the order even further round the corner, you can no longer really see what's going on in the middle and the rear. Is basically just a sea of dead bodies now around this, and the potholes that are around you. On the cliff, you can't see any more archers up there from where you are now, back around this corner, back around this ravine. But you've got cover now from where the Raven's Teeth were shooting from. And so what is your strategy now, rather than the kind of moment by moment tactics? I'm interested to see if you are interested in staying in this fight or not.
Yeah, so at this point, unless there's a way we can get up onto that ridge to get to the Raven's Teeth, I mean, which I don't think there really is unless we take heavy fire and losses from them. The plan is to back the fuck out of this fight get away from the Raven's Teeth, because they will just pick us off until we are dead. Because unless we can like get out of the ravine and go around, but it's a long way around.
Yeah, it's a very long way around. Basically, the only kind of good way to that would be to work your way along your own ambush spot, and then try and get around the rear, where hopefully the Fowlers still are, and then back up around onto that cliff.
Yeah. So the order here is to get out of the range of the Raven's Teeth.
Okay. So you stay back away from the battle, and the noise of battle starts to die down. So you hear the occasional last gasp of a man's life as he's takes an arrow through the heart, through the shoulder. You can hear the occasional bit of steel on steel, or a fall down a ravine. But after a while, if you just stay back, those noises of battle stop by the early afternoon.
Okay. And do I see anybody else manage to make it out of there? Didn't think so. Okay. So from this point, it's take stock. See what we have, see what shape we're in. I think Miria herself is probably done fighting at this point. The adrenaline has gone, so now it's just pain. The concussion has set in. Her shoulder is probably screaming. She's got a hole from the arrow, so she's probably being seen to for that. So it's see what we have, see what the situation is, and then potentially, if we have anything, we try for Blood Raven, but I don't want to send men in just to get sniped.
Lysander reports to you with a deep bow, and he says, "My lady, the ravine is filled with the bodies of our fighting men and Targaryen allies. You can see over the way that Lord Caron is with his troops, the remainder of his troops. The flank he was commanding looks particularly thin on the ground. He says, Lysander continues, I have not seen the Fowlers or the rear flank, and I do not believe the archers are coming back. But the Targaryens are not advancing, and we guarded the way.
And she tries to, to return that sentiment, that pride, but she can just feel the weight of all that death. And, she goes to give him one of those manly arm shake things, but her body's just so battered right now that she can barely move. She just nods and she's holding where she was shot, just the pain right there, and part of it's fuck, that's very close. And she's sort of hunched over. We need to make sure that those that have survived are safe, I think. And please feel free to correct me if you think this is the wrong decision. I think we should retreat.
I agree. We should return to Ironwood Keep. It will be safer there, and we can meet whatever force comes down the Boneway there. We will hold the way again. But we are done for today.
We can't let those that died die in vain by charging into a battle unprepared. Give the order.
And he starts to make his rounds, and he quietly tells people they're heading back to Ironwood Keep. And you still have Makar's helm.
I do, and she's not letting that thing out of her sight. And I think she sits there for a while with it in her lap, looking at it, and like the blood on it. And there's part of her. Okay, sorry.
The crest with those teeth, like they're fashioned to a point. Like this is a weapon as well, and you know you've felt the fangs of the Targaryens today, even as a victim of an ambush.
Mm-hmm. And she looks at it in her lap, and she like wipes a bit of the blood that's on the visor, and she says quietly, "This is for all of us. For Lyra, for Joy, for Wayland." And she stares it a little bit more, and in her head, this is the first part of her promise fulfilled. This is a dead Targaryen. And as she sort of like picks her tired ass up off the ground, she doesn't let go of that helmet.
And you are helped up onto a horse, but you're riding behind somebody who's more able-bodied right now. And then you start to slowly walk the horse back down the Boneway, and there is still a long way to go, even here, and with these wounds that are going to slow you down. And in the sky, fairly low in the sky, passing along the ravine, you hear the caw of a single raven. And you look up, and it passes you and circles this kind of faux procession down the Boneway as you proceed back to Castle Ironwood. And that's where we'll leave it for tonight. So,
Fuck.
you rolled a 24 on your warfare test earlier in the week.
Yes.
Because I wrote it down.
Uh-huh.
Makar
Uh-huh.
rolled a 24.
No shit. Oh my god.
So it's bad news all round.
Yeah. Fuck.
So this was just an absolute meat grinder, and
That was holy shit.
But you just got back 2 bonus die from Jordan. So there you go.
Thanks, Jordan. I didn't think I was gonna make it out of that one. After that first hit from Makar, I was like, fuck.
Those were the big guns. So, you know, I was prepared to kind of lay some more hits with his bonus dice actually in hand this time to, you know, keep hitting you, keep going for it. But I have now been Omega crit. So what can I say?
Oh, dear.
5 sixes. 5
Omega crit.
fucking 6s.
5 6s.
We've got to make a t-shirt, right?
We got it.
Omega
5
crit,
6s is gonna
5 6s.
Yep. Yeah. She did it, fam. She did it.
She did it. She's still alive. What the
Somehow.
What the fuck are you going to do now is the question.
Fucking no. I didn't expect to live.
Hurts, doesn't it, Sam? Yep. I'm sad.
Jordan, yes, I did. I killed Prince Makar Targaryen. And he didn't have Aerion with him.
No.
Or Daron.
No.
His other son.
No.
And I don't think he'd bring Aemon with him because Aemon was a tiny baby when I last saw him. So he'd be about 5. Oh.
So yeah, they are down a prince. I don't know if actually, hang on, maybe I can make this work. Well, maybe I can, maybe I can't. Hang on. Right. Chat, give me a second, because then we're going to go to a spreadsheet. House actions.
Ooh.
Where's the house actions thing? Because I've got.
Do you know what? Do you know what clinched today?
All of these
Do you know what
freaking
clinched
frames and stuff.
It was the ghost of Oliver.
Yeah.
He was with her today.
Okay.
She did what he couldn't.
I've got a Miria frame here. Hang on a second. Where are we? That's not it. That's okay. We want that one. We don't want that one. We don't want that one. Okay. So we want that zoom, and we want it to be not me. Hang on. We'll do it in post. We'll fix it in post. It's
Do it in
fine.
post, yeah. Fix it in post. Yeah,
Fix it live. Oh God, what are you? Oh my God, no. What's going
Dragon
on?
Slayer. Should I take that as my nickname?
Hammer Slayer. Hammer time. Hammer.
Was he the hammer or was he the anvil?
He was the hammer.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah,
he was
yeah,
the
that's
hammer. I reread his thing today to like check up on him again. I'm sure he was the hammer. Why are you tiny? Hang on. Can I scale both of you up at the same time?
No, he was the anvil.
Was he? What?
Yeah.
Fucks. All right. Just retcon that. It's fine. It's fine.
Just fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Right. We're going to put you there, and then we're going to put the zoom thing.
God damn it, Jordan.
Here.
Anvil Breaker is even better.
Anvil Breaker's a good one.
That's a pretty good one.
That's pretty good.
Just add that to my titles.
Sound frame, zoom. Keep vibing while I sort out my zoom here. We're almost there.
Yes. If we do another after the Fyre wrestling show, that's gotta be a line. Maria's a goddamn forge. That's fucking dope.
That's so cool. Okay. Oh, I didn't put my dice in this thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, Susan, have you got edit privileges on this second Blackfyre Rebellion sheet? Pretty sure you have. If I've shared it with everybody.
Let me have a look. Second Blackfyre Rebellion. Let's see. I think it says view only.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I don't want to show people's email addresses, so I'm just going to go onto a different window and give you edit permission. Oh yeah, you're all viewers. I didn't trust you. Editor, Susanna Grace. Okay, you should now be able to edit the spreadsheet.
Hell yeah.
So, Targaryen.
Yep.
Where is he? Prince Maekar, 25.
Yep.
Delete.
I will delete Prince Maekar. No, it says, hang on, I need to refresh.
Where are you? Go to, oh yeah. Go to, the Targaryen tab.
Yep,
there you
Prince
go.
Maekar.
Prince
There
Maekar.
he was.
Delete.
He is deleted.
Hang
on. Nope, that's not how you spell dead. Dead.
Fucking hell. I got to do all the powers as well. I got to nuke all of them because everyone's dying and stuff. We'll figure out rolling wounds and wounded people, wounded units after. We'll see how your poor vultures who you haven't heard from.
Oh, my poor vulture
How they do.
Hey, do you know what? People slag off gorillas in the book, but they did pretty good. They did good, my boys, my vultures.
That purely taking Maekar out puts us now on a war score of 13%.
Ooh. Well, I mean, there's Maekar's forces also there at the top that need to be deleted. Maybe. Oh, wait, we don't know yet. Warfare rolls to make sure. He's dead, but the forces may not be.
I tell you what, if you want to be a dramatic bitch about it, like I would be, if you delete his forces, I delete your vultures.
Oh.
And I'll delete the Fowler boys at the back there.
Do you know what? I want to roll for it.
All right, we'll roll for it. Either like some like little house actiony thing towards the end, or we'll figure it out in between. All right. Okay.
I mean, you're the gem. If you want to do dramatic bitch, then we can do dramatic bitch.
No, it's good. I don't mind rolling. Rolling's cool too because you get little bits of it. All right. Oof. There we have it, friends. That was
Oh,
that was a
I'm
battle,
going to
right?
do such a sweet victory dance to my husband, who's been mocking me all week.
You did it. You got the Omega crit you needed.
If I didn't get that crit, I wouldn't have survived. He
I
would have killed
agree.
me.
I think you would have. I think you would have bought it.
He would have got me. Because as much as the lovely Pope yesterday was like, retreat is an option, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Wasn't for Makar either.
No.
Got to figure out what happened to Dondarrion too.
Yeah.
Have to see. I'll have to roll for it. Very cool. Thought I had you this episode
You almost
as well.
got me.
Fucking almost got you. He was an
Close.
angry
I did it.
bludgeoning bitch. Angry bludgeoning bitch.
Shh.
It's gonna be a t-shirt.
I did promise Roll20 my firstborn after that. So
there's video evidence too. You actually said that, and then it came good for you. So
I sold my fictional baby for poison. I sold a hypothetical future real baby for a good dice roll. Mother of the year.
I'm just saying that in the hypothetical 10 years from now, you know, when you've had a family, like you know, I know a couple of people from the Roll20 crew, like they're gonna break down the fucking door. Yeah, it's gonna be like, I don't know, the Men in Black or something gonna come round and be like, so on this video evidence, little video, you so come on, hand it over. We've got to feed the bad rolls somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be if it's a hypothetical future child of mine, it's probably better for the world if it is fed to the Roll20 machine.
Somewhere on Roll20 tonight, someone's poor fucking 3rd level wizard died in a D&D session, thanks to you. Guaranteed. Good. Guaranteed.
Oh boy.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat. You really came out for us today. Well, I you know, we usually end it with a like, where are you? What are you doing? Type stuff. But what do you want to do tomorrow? You want to stream?
Yeah, we'll stream something if you wanna. We'll stream something. I've decided.
Figure out.
Pirates, because there's new pirate stuff. Maybe?
Oh, new pirate stuff. We should totally play new pirate stuff.
Yeah, new pirate stuff, and we'll just be chill and good. Yeah. And then on Monday, I'm fucking coming for you.
Crusader Queens. We have got to play like at least Queens so that we get the royal court shenanigans stuff too. And then I think it should just be a fucking at it free for all jobby.
Yeah, I think so too. And probably not this week because I'm very busy, like end of this month into next month. But after, when we do Crusader Queens, I'll be a Crusader King.
Nice. We should do a get ready together like stream too. Like you did that get ready with me kind of stream before one of the things. We should do that as well.
Yeah.
And I can wear these ridiculous false eyelashes I've just got that I did not expect. Oh my god.
Right, we should probably end this stream.
We should probably end this stream now. We're at time now. Okay, so if you fucking loved the Juicy Fruits and we're here for it tonight, we are here every Thursday with our Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire tabletop role-playing campaign After the Fire. We only have a few episodes left, fam. The burnout is starting to niggle in, and so I need a break at some point soon. So we're only going to do a few more of these, and then that is going to be it for After the Fire. So stay tuned with us to learn what happens. It's every Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time. We are also streaming on Wednesdays. We're streaming our spy game campaign, Hexcrawl. Spy game is that game we published. It's all about spies. It uses the 5e engine.
Hang on, it's under like 12 makeup palettes.
And we published it. It's a game about international espionage and action, powered by the 5e system you are all very familiar with, and is available now on our web store, blackcatsgamingshop.com. Apart from that, we'll be streaming a more casual thing, Crusader Queens, on the Mondays, where we combine drag with grand strategy, because those two things needed to come together, apparently.
Guess they did.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's it from us. If you want to follow us around the internet with that, follow Black Cats or Black Cats Gaming. You can buy our stuff at blackcatsgamingshop.com. Who else is live? Who else is live? Let's have a look. Chat, if you see a friend, if you see a friend who is live and you want to show them some love, shout them out in chat, and we'll go over to them, and we'll see what they're up to. As we need to decompress.
I'm still doing Tina noises. I fucking won.
Roll for it.
And I'm still Tina.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah, right. Tina's on. Roll for it's on.
I just put /roll. That's how out of it I now am. I'm beginning the come down here. Raid. It knows what I want to do. Roll for, not 34. There we go. Cool. Nailed it. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being our support people, I guess. You really came out for Susie today, so thank you very much. And thank you for the occasional bonus dice for me as well. It does help me cause some drama, which I value a lot. So we will see you, if not on Monday, if not on Wednesday, back here, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK, for more After the Fire. Until then, take care, friends.